Alright, so finally we're starting with the game proper. I gotta say that I'm planning on this being a bit more loose than the last episode. 'Cause the last one's a lot more lore based, and it was sort of commentating over one special, and it was cut. Not only was it like a 24-minute thing, but it was cut to about 15 minutes. And what I'm trying to say is, yeah, like I had to make a lot of takes for that, and just had to be a big thing. So in this one, I'm going to try my best to be a bit more loose and just let myself take some pauses every so often, just if I need to. But I am planning on just sort of going through the levels, seeing what there is. Just it's a different format. I want to see how it works. I could just not like it and go back to the original, but I think this is a decent compromise between like just kind of doing the whole game in one sitting, sort of letting the commentary die out over time in quality. I also have a different mic setup this time, just like adjusting the volumes and stuff. I just want to see how that works out. Well, anyway, it seems like we should begin. Classic Capcom logo. And this is the intro to the game itself. Tell me if you can see something compared to, say, Day of Sigma. Yeah, you noticing something? It's fucking weird. This doesn't really tell you anything. It basically just tells you the like how dangerous X is, which you can sort of tell in the gameplay that he's a powerful guy. Alright, you gotta try to read the small writing that's like 2 pixels. Warning, X is the first of a new generation of robots which contain an innovative new feature, the ability to think, feel, and make their own decisions. However, this ability could be very dangerous if X were to break the first rule of robotics. A robot must never harm a human being, which is a real thing. The result would be disastrous, and I fear that no force on Earth could stop him. Approximately 30 years will be required before we can safely confirm his reliability. Unfortunately, I will not live to see that day, nor do I have anyone to carry on my work. Therefore, I have decided to seal him in this capsule, which will test his internal systems until his reliability has been confirmed. Please do not disturb the capsule until that time. X possesses great risks as well as great possibilities. I can only hope for the best. September 18th, 20XX. Dr. Thomas Light. And that's about the context that you get for the intro to this game. Well, I hope you understood all the lore from that. I mean, it's not like this is the most complex series in terms of lore or anything. I mean, it's a Capcom game, but like, is that really the way they're presenting their story? You could at least give a little explanation as to what's going on. Well, we got a demo. That's not a first for a Mega Man game. I think. Actually, did 6 come out before X? I kind of forget. Post me. Do that. Check that out. Alright, this demo does a good job of teasing some weapons that you can get in this game, as well as some abilities. The X is decked out in a bunch of different armor than what he looks like at the beginning of the game, and we'll get into that as we go along. Anyway, let's get past this demo, and let's go into options, because this is kind of important. The default dashing button, which we'll get into what dashing is later, is A. I want you to take note of the SNES controller. So Y and B are to shoot and jump respectively. That makes sense. That's fine. X doesn't do anything, which, whatever. And A is to dash? That means that, basically, unless you want to, like, make your hand into, like, a claw shape or play with your fingers, you're not really going to get a good grasp at, like, the dash button and the shoot button at the same time. You're going to be able to shoot and jump, or dash and jump. And then, like, you'd have to make some really awkward motions with your hands to get to dash and shoot, and that's like, no. I don't know why that's a default controller for all three SNES games. They didn't think that through, in my opinion. What I personally prefer, and you might agree in this case, to change dash to a finger that isn't really affected by the face buttons, and that's R. As for the select L, well, that's like swapping the weapons to the left and cycling the weapons to the right. Instead of doing A, switch it to X. So X has a purpose, and I don't have to fear accidentally pushing A in the midst of battle. So, from there, it looks like everything's good. I think this is just a sound test. Yeah. I didn't even know this was a thing. Well, anyway. Yeah, I could do the intro again. If I'm being honest, when I started this series, I was thinking to myself, I'm really excited to play X2 and X3. The thing is, though, Mega Man X, not that I dislike the game or anything, it's one of those games I think to myself, yeah, it's boring old X1. A lot of the level design just seems very plain in comparison. And honestly, the gameplay, even the story, I'd argue, is very vanilla. Not bad or anything. In fact, it's pretty damn good. It's just kind of passé, considering how many times I've actually played this game. Whereas X2 and X3, I still get a kick out of every so often. So, first level, starting off in Central Highway. All these cars, this is like our one sign of humans existing in this world, in this game. It's like, wow. And you could even argue those are Reploids. I don't know. Here's the pretty simple first stage. I'm sure everyone by now has seen that Egoraptor video, the sequelitis on Mega Man X. I gotta be honest, I do agree with a lot of things he says. I think this stage does an excellent job of teaching you the controls of the game. It shows you which enemies have weak spots, how many mistakes you can make, etc., etc. I mean, it's a pretty quotable video at this point. This level is fucking genius! Though if I'm being honest, I'd say that the actual amount of genius that this level contains kind of overstays its welcome as we go on. For example, you see this mini-boss right here? Also make sure not to get too close to it, because as soon as you kill it, it can crush you like that. Like, I don't know. I've done that a few times. I'd say the genius kind of wears thin. There's another one of these mini-bosses later in the stage, and it's the same exact thing, just I think maybe it releases different enemies or something. It doesn't seem like it's really justifying the amount of time it takes to beat this level. Anyway, this is definitely a new feature that was not present in the classic game. So far, a lot of things are very similar to the classic Mega Man games. The way the jump is, it seems like Mega Man's really rocking, like, he's really excited to jump every time he jumps. Yeah, yeah! Something that Mega Man couldn't do is get out of this pit by wall jumping. Not only that, but it's wall jumping along the same wall. Take that, Mario. You can also test your abilities here and get out of this pit. Woo. Now you see this mid shot here, the green shot? Strangely, it actually seems a fair bit more overpowered than you'd think. Like, especially for regular enemies. It just seems like it tears through half the stuff. I mean, obviously the blue shot does as well. But the mid-shot just wrecks things, like, really hard. And we got falling platforms. Just to make sure you don't jump. Here's something I kind of like. All three of these platforms fall, but if you get rid of this one and then this one, the middle one falls along with that one, which is, it's kind of clever, you know. It's that extra little bit of polish, I'd say. I mean, it makes sense in terms of physics, though the sheer amount of flying platforms in this game, I guess I'd argue the contrary, but regardless. Here we got the awesome guys on cars. Everyone loves cars. Everyone loves the guys on cars, rather. Yeah, I'm sure people like cars, though. Yeah, bit of a plain walk right here. And thankfully, it looks like the intro stage is finally coming to a close. You just gotta get rid of the extra troops that this airship is throwing behind. And now, here comes the big guns. It's Vile, rocking a ride armor. And he's about to shoot me. Yeah. And here begins the trend of Mega Man X games having an intro boss that would be hard. Like, it would actually be a pretty damn difficult boss if it weren't the intro boss and had to be nerfed in some way. In this case, you can't win. You literally can't win. You're supposed to take damage. Get hit by one of Vile's shots right there. He grabs you in a menacing stance, I guess. You worthless piece of scrap metal. Did you think you could defeat me? Zero Senpai, help me! Oh yeah! Now this is Zero's theme right here. But what follows is probably my favorite song in the soundtrack. Variable X. Damn, this song is really good. It just sets the tone so well. It's especially really powerful after that intense boss battle, and then it just feels worth it, like you earned something after having to suffer through that. I guess I'm not powerful enough to defeat him. X, you shouldn't expect to defeat him. He is designed to be a war machine. Remember, you've not reached full potential. I was gonna say potential, but power yet. If you use all the abilities you were designed with, you should become stronger. You may even become as powerful as I am. I'll scout ahead and collect as much information on Sigma's fortress as I can. I'll meet up with you when you get there. See you later. X, I know you can do it. Got a bit of cool camaraderie with Zero there. So it's just a great moment. It's a great moment to end off kind of a bit of a bit of a lengthy level there to start with. Even got the passwords scene here. It's awesome. We got the Mets dancing the music, kind of. I mean, they're just kind of randomly popping up. It's just an awesome theme. And, well, we press Y, which for some reason is the advance button. I guess we could also press start, but, like, I don't know. The NES had, like, A as, like, the usual confirm button. And with a lot of SNES games, they're like, okay, Y, that's Y now, it's a shoot button. It's like the B functionality. I can make a whole video on that. In fact, I think I will eventually. Anyway, we get to the stage select. So, this is definitely a series that prides itself on the story, for, you know, for better or for worse. So the intro stage was a nice touch, really sets the mood for the rest of the game. And in the next episode, we'll start with the actual levels, and we'll start with Chill Penguin. This is generally the most this is generally the stage that's considered the one you should tackle first. It's not necessarily the easiest, I'd say, but it has something in it that I think to both casuals and speedrunners alike, something you shouldn't miss out on early on. So, I'll see you next time.